Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. When I was a young boy growing up in Belfast, there was an expression we would use where we would say, "What's that got to do with the price of eggs?" And quite simply, this was an expression that you used when somebody said something that was irrelevant. It had nothing to do with what you were talking about. They'd just come with something off the wall. And you'd say, "Well, what's that got to do with the price of eggs?" And, that's got nothing to do with what we're talking about. Well, growing up, I never dreamed that the price of eggs would become a major political issue, but that's what happened in the last number of months and even the last year in the United States. Because of bird flu, quite a number of chickens were slaughtered and there was a shortage of eggs. And the price of eggs were going up and everyone was going crazy about it. I was seeing all my American friends on Facebook posting photographs of how much eggs were in the supermarket, and every time I saw that, I thought, what's that got to do with the price of eggs? And people are saying this is crazy. Nothing like this has ever happened before, except it has happened before. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9, there's nothing new under the sun. And that's true, even when it comes to the price of eggs. Because way back in 1848, there was the great California gold rush, when gold was discovered in Sutter's Mill in California. And there was one of the greatest migrations in American history. Over 300,000 migrants made their way to California at the gold rush, looking for gold. And most of them came through San Francisco. And San Francisco grew in a couple of years from being a town of just 800 inhabitants to being a city of over 20,000 people. And these gold diggers, they were the gold miners, they wanted food and they were working hard, digging for gold, and so they wanted protein. They wanted eggs, but there wasn't anywhere near enough chickens in California to feed all the people that were arriving there. And eggs went sky high. Eggs were being sold for $1 per egg, which is, we're talking in the 19th century, we're talking nearly 200 years ago. And yet that's more than eggs cost here in Ireland today. And in fact, $1 per egg is the equivalent today, in today's money, that would be like paying $30 for a single egg, or $180 for just a little 6-pack of eggs. Now, people decided they would get eggs wherever they could, so they didn't just eat chickens' eggs, they were eating the eggs of other kinds of birds. And there were these islands off the coast of California, some really rugged, pretty dangerous islands, in shark-infested waters, surrounded by waters full of great white sharks. And but it was the largest seabird nesting colony in the United States. And so there were gangs of people were going out there gathering eggs in dangerous situations. Some of the people were killed falling off the cliffs trying to collect seabird eggs, seagull eggs. And there was gangs would fight each other. There were wars. There was like armed battles took place for who would have control of gathering the seagull eggs off these islands. And there were some of the seagull eggs were twice the size of hen's eggs, but they didn't look that appetizing. Apparently, when you cooked them, the white wasn't white at all. It was like transparent, and the yolk was like a bright orange, nearly a red color. But you know what? People were so desperate for eggs, they would eat them anyway. Now, eventually, chicken farmers caught up with supply and demand. They were able to bring more chickens into California to start laying more eggs, and slowly the prices went down for a dozen eggs went down from $12 to $1, and then to 30 cents until it was down only 5 cents for a dozen eggs. And which is probably just as well, because most of the seagulls had got extinct. They were stealing so many eggs that the seagulls were being wiped out on these islands. But why am I sharing that? To show that this whole thing about the price of eggs, it's not new. It's happened before, and if the world continues long enough, no doubt it will happen again. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9, there is nothing new under the sun. But that phrase, there's nothing new under the sun, is not just a world-weary thing. Oh, everything's boring, everything's meaningless, there's no point to it all because nothing new ever happens. That's not what Ecclesiastes 1:9 is saying. When it's saying there's nothing new under the sun, it's saying there's nothing that takes God by surprise. There's nothing that God can't deal with. There's nothing that God can't handle. Whatever happens, whatever takes place, God knows what to do. God will handle it. God is in control. And what's that got to do with the price of eggs? Well, apparently just about everything, because our God is in control. And when you get that fact settled in your heart, then all the other things, including the price of eggs, will begin to fall into place. God bless you today. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.